So here it is. We're at REDCREST 2021. REDCREST is our championship event in Major League Fishing. You know, a last minute change of venues. So here we're back at Eufaula where we started our season last year. This is our premier event. So had a great year in 2020, and hopefully REDCREST is the event that we can cap it off with a big win. Unique event that it only worked out to where we only got 1 day of practice. Practice for me was basically a bust. I did catch one scoreable bass that day, and apparently they've had a lot of rain because the areas I caught them last year were extremely muddy. If it's extremely muddy, they won't bite in it, and you gotta find clear waters. Day one of the event, pulled into this backwater and shut down, and the water was beautiful. Cleanest water I'd seen. I knew right then and there that it was going to be the right decision. Started throwing the bladed jig down the bank, and probably 10 minutes in.
Oh yeah, baby! I love it when a plan comes together.
3 pounds, 3 ounces.
Caught a 3.5 pounder.
We're on the ball.
Mind you, when I only caught one fish the entire day before.
Already better than yesterday.
And I knew right then and there from what I saw, just running into that, I'm like, we're gonna have a good day. Pulled up on a spot, and there was a perfect isolated little clump.
Oh, there we go. Gosh, good one. I'm gonna land him. Yeah! Woo!
Nice.
Look at that! Boom!
4 pounds, 15 ounces.
5 pounder.
I throw out there and catch a 415, and I mean, everything was clicking perfect.
Get in here, baby. 2-3.
2 pounds, 1 ounce.
2-1.
It was just crazy how shallow these fish were. Super, super shallow. I mean, I would throw as far back and hit the solid wall of reeds and make 2 turns and they'd eat it.
Oh my God. I'm not gonna argue, another 2 pounder.
It was a fun day, made me feel really good, a lot of confidence. I made the right decision.
3 pounds, 9 ounces.
3-9.
And I think after the first day, I was sitting in 3rd or 4th place. So
314, almost a 4 pounder. Oh, there we go.
I was very impressed with how it turned out. I had a pretty good cushion. The whole key at REDCREST, there's cuts.
2-1, I called it. Oh, there we go, there he is. Golly, that sucker smoked. Yes. 2-8. Ah.
After day one, I'm sitting in 3rd place. I think I had 26 pounds for that day, and I think the cut at that point was like 10 pounds. I had a pretty good cushion, looked like I was going to make it to the knockout round, and I was pretty confident. My plan was to go up there the next day and just expand on what I had found. So day 2 comes along. I run back up there, but the water had dropped about 4 or 5 inches. When they drop the water that much and you're catching them super shallow, it's not a good thing. I only caught 1 short bass the entire day. It was a very humbling day. Thank goodness I had enough weight after day 1 that I still made it to the knockout round. So fast forward, it's Group B, our knockout round. There's 10 of us out there, and the top 5 move on.
Brent Chapman.
So I take off this morning, I'm running up there, and I notice that there's one of the other competitors' boats up in front of me. I'm in the Triton, it's pretty fast. I'm slowly catching them. I finally catch up and I realize it's Edwin. I noticed Edwin went in the slough where I caught my first couple fish that first day. Immediately shut down. I noticed the water's higher. It actually looked good in the little backwater where I'd caught them. And fished all through that backwater and never had a bite. Go back where I caught the 415, thinking there'd be another fish, nothing. I said, the only thing I have left is I could go to the steeper bank, get away from the reeds, go to the steeper bank and maybe catch some there. First cast, I fire up into the shade, working it back.
There we go.
Boom, I catch a 3 pounder.
Got to be kidding me. That was the sign right there. How about that, guys? We come over to this steeper bank and first cast. Finally.
3 pounds, 1 ounce.
Oh, wow. 3-1. How about that?
I thought, here we go. We're going to make things happen. And then literally fished almost that whole entire period, 2 periods, and I've got 1 fish. I wasn't out of it by any means. I think at that point I was maybe 7 pounds back, which is 1 fish, maybe 2 fish. I opted to run back down where I'd caught them because I knew the water was clearing up. Working that bladed jig through the lily pads, and boom, I catch one. Almost a 4 pound.
3 pounds, 13 ounces.
And I thought, here we go.
Almost a 4-pounder. That's how we can make them move in a hurry.
Here's our momentum. We had like an hour to go. And I thought, man, all I got to do is catch a couple or 1 big one. I'm right there. The last hour of the day, I caught 3 non-scoreable bass, which was really unusual because the bladed jig usually catches bigger fish and all that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I came up short. The thing that was so frustrating about it is I came down here and they're actually starting to bite in this muddy water. So tomorrow, if I would have made it to the championship round, this stuff down here, that muddy water, it's warming up. The water temp down here was already in the 60s. It was 50 in practice. So, you know, this was the culmination of 2020, and this is a wrap on 2020 now, and feels good to get out and catch some fish. Knock the cobwebs off. I'm ready to get the 2021 Bass Pro Tour started and have another great season. So should be a fun one. So this week for me at REDCREST, it was all about the bladed jig. It's my confidence deal. I mean, you know, that's what fishing is about. It's about getting momentum and sticking with something you're confident in. The setup for me here, it's all about the KASTKING here. This is the KASTKING Speed Demon Pro. This is their it's a 7.3 bladed jig rod. This rod right here is awesome. I absolutely love this thing for a bladed jig. It's got a nice soft tip to it. You can really, you know, load this thing up and be very, very precise on your cast, but it's got backbone to it to where when those 8.15s eat it and 7-pounders, you can really, you know, put some pressure on them. I've got this with 20-pound gamma fluorocarbon. That's a big key player as well. You know, when I'm throwing 20-pound gamma fluorocarbon, I feel like I've got the upper hand on that. Something that I've done different halfway through last year was we've got the KASTKING Bassinator Elite reel here. And what I'm doing here, I've got this on the 8-to-1 gear ratio reel instead of the 6-4-to-1 like I was throwing last year. And I actually prefer it on the 8-to-1 now. I can slow it down and still work that bait slow, but when a fish hits it, it just allows me to catch up that much faster with the fish. Have it on the high-speed reel is a big player as well. You know, just a phenomenal setup. Like I said, it's my confidence. It's my go-to now, and I've got this tied on no matter where we go. I'm going to have a couple of these on the deck for sure.